right, and I believe that we're live.
You sure?
Yes, we are live. It is difficult for me to know when we're live because it always, there's a delay. And so I click the go live button and then there's nothing. And then it's like 4 seconds in. I'm like, oh, crap. What was I doing for the last 4 seconds?
Just don't swear.
Just don't swear.
That's enough.
Mother. All right, so interesting. This is not news, but this is just a little bit of evening chit chat. So I've been having sleeping difficulties for quite some time now. Actually, when Valeria and I met, I was sleeping very well, but I very quickly found it difficult to sleep, and I got this Apple Watch that can determine your sleeping pattern, how well you sleep. And then Valeria got this Apple Watch, and she discovered her sleeping cycles, or whatever you're going to call it. And what we determined was that my sleep is total garbage, and her sleep is amazing. There's this little waveform, and it tells you when you've gotten light sleep, when you've gotten some intermediate sleep, and then when you've gotten deep sleep. And I'm very rarely getting any deep sleep ever. And Valeria is basically in the purple the whole dang time. She goes to sleep, and she's just deep sleep, and then she wakes up. It's amazing.
I don't think it's also healthy because you have to have an hour light sleep.
Well, I'm exaggerating. Obviously, you do fluctuate a little. I mean, you're in the blue a little bit. In the blue meaning she's in light sleep a little bit. But for the most part, I mean, I would say you're in deep sleep more than you're in light sleep, which is crazy.
I just hope it's healthy.
Well, it's a hell of a lot more healthy than barely getting any sleep at all. And so I had a theory, right? My theory was that because of the millennia of men basically having to be the physical protectors of the family, I guess we've probably been trained to sleep much more lightly than women, so that if there's a rustling in the house, we can wake up and then go, defeat it, fight the bad guy and win. And women, on the other hand, have never had to have this responsibility, so they're safe and dandy sleeping.
Well, I think woman's sleeping changes when she has a baby because you have to wake up after 2 hours.
Oh, good point.
And if every a little noise that baby makes, woman instantly what?
Yes.
I don't think I'm gonna have this issue.
I'm gonna be waking you up, honey. Go get the baby. You're gonna be like, you're the one that woke up. Yeah, that's actually a very good point. I hadn't thought about that. That's actually a very good point. Yeah, so maybe that's true. But at least in the case of Valeria and I, she's very good at deep sleep, and I can't sleep. But I looked it up. So I went online and I looked it up, and sure enough, women tend to sleep longer and they tend to sleep deeper than men.
And live longer.
Well, yeah. And I read that and I go, that's why you guys live longer. You guys can sleep well. And so I've kind of been obsessed with sleep for some time now because I just don't sleep well. And the only time that I did sleep well is when I got very, very fit, physically fit, just before I met you. I was sleeping very well. I don't know why.
Maybe you had less stress in your life.
I definitely had less
now
stress.
You have too much stress.
I have a lot of stress now, yeah. That's probably
lots of work to do.
Which is why I want to move to Hawaii, which you won't let us do. See the eye roll? You see that? You see that Russian eye roll? Yeah. I'm like, why would you not want to move to Hawaii? She's like, because I want to visit it. I understand that to some degree. I think, keeping a place special by not overindulging, I think actually is kind of a good idea.
I think I need to get a haircut.
Well, that's random.
I know. I just looked at myself.
Gosh, I had some other personal news, but I forgot what it was. So why don't we just move on to the first news story? Oh, you want to do the intro?
I remembered. You remember about the intro?
All right, ladies and gentlemen. What is it? I'm toxic. She's masculine. Together we are toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity. All right, Valeria.
Yes.
Shall we read the first story?
High school coach fired for praying.
Yeah, this is a pretty messed up story. It's actually a little bit of an old story from what I understand, but
is he white?
but I hadn't heard about it until now. I'm going to move this slightly. So let's have a look at this. So Joe Kennedy was initially suspended and then fired in 2015 after he refused a school district order to end his post-game prayer session. So he's trying to sue the school district, I guess, or the school. Washington High School, a coach fired over post-game prayers, loses Ninth Circuit court record. So this story is actually following a case that already exists about this coach that was fired, and now he's trying to sue. But he lost his case in the Ninth Circuit, but I think he's going to appeal it and try to win it in a higher court, which I assume must be the Supreme Court. So let's hope they take it up, because the Ninth Circuit Court, you guys, just seeing, for those who don't know, most people know, but for those who don't know, the Ninth Circuit Court is like all activist leftist judges. They are known for ruling in a way that is not constitutional, but rather in a way that promotes like left-wing values, social justice, woke garbage.
What are left-wing values? Atheism?
So many words that you can't pronounce. Yeah, just ideas like any issue that we're dealing with on a federal level, in which a leftist might have one view and a conservative might have another view, they will always rule in favor of the Democrat view. They pay no attention to anything about the law or about precedent or about the Constitution. They only rule in favor of the leftist view, always, 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 without fail. They're horrible. They're horrible activist judges. I don't know how they're allowed to have the seats that they have, because they are, it's just unbelievable, really. But let's have a look here. Let's read this. A former high school football coach in Washington State who's fighting a school district's ban on post-game prayer with his prayer that cost him his job. With his players. Okay. Prayer and players should not be in the same sentence. It's very confusing.
That I almost mistaken. Coach was fired for praying. I literally want to say playing.
Yeah. This is tough. This is a tough one, guys. All right. Ban on post-game prayers with his players that cost him his job. God, whoever wrote this, don't write that kind of thing. Think about it for a second. All right. He's lost his latest court battle. In the decision, a court for the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit in San Francisco appeared to accuse former Bremerton High School coach Joe Kennedy of seeking publicity rather than divine intervention. Kennedy's attempts to draw nationwide attention to his challenge to the district showed that he was not engaged in private prayer. What? Hold on. What? Judge Milan Smith wrote. Of course you'd think that. Your name is Milan, which is the name of a town in Italy. It's not a name. I guess you can name a kid.
I like this name.
Yeah,
I like this name.
Okay.
If I would be in Russia, I would name my daughter Milana.
That's just because you like
I like
fashion. All right, let's see here.
Who doesn't like it?
According to Q13 in Fox in Seattle. Let's see. Q13, I guess, is the news station. All right. Instead, he was engaged in public speech of an overtly religious nature while performing his job duties. Give me a break. The judge contends that the district tried to accommodate Kennedy, but was spurned by Kennedy, insisting that he be allowed to pray immediately after the conclusion of each game, potentially surrounded by students. Oh, dear God. No. To pray surrounded by students, that animal. Well, I don't understand how you can say that because he tried to bring attention to his case nationwide, that he couldn't possibly have been engaging in private prayer. That doesn't make any sense at all. It wasn't like he was praying like in the middle of an interview. It's not like he asked the news, whatever, the reporters to come around and film him whilst praying so that he could make a kind of public declaration, religious public declaration. That's not what happened. He prayed privately. He was fired, took his case to sued the school or the school district or whatever. And then that case went public. So it wasn't like the prayer itself was some kind of public speech. It's like the weirdest, most leftists always convolute what's going on so that they can basically twist it into something that makes sense to them, so that they can do whatever they want. They can justify whatever BS that they believe, or BS action that they're taking. Okay, let's see here. Smith, representing a 3-judge panel that decided the appeal, said the panel agreed that a district court had ruled correctly in favor of the school district rather than the coach in a previous step in the legal process. I could just imagine them like contemplating how to like screw this guy over. Like, oh, okay, well, we could say that it's this is not, that it's not a separation of church and state, and but how are we going to do this? Okay, that's not very convincing. Ooh, what if we say that this was public speech instead of a private prayer because get this, because he this is a very public case that he got publicity for this. Oh, that's a great idea. Let's do that. Scheming activist judges. That's what I think happened. Let's see here. Yep. Kennedy was initially suspended and then fired in 2015 after he refused a school district order to end his post-game prayer sessions, which had begun with him silently praying along on the field before players later joined him. Let's see here. The retired Marine Corps gunnery sergeant shared his views last month during an appearance on Fox News. Fox News' America Reports. The First Amendment really means a lot to me, Kennedy said on February 1st, and it's really terrible today in America that somebody can be fired for expressing their faith. So I'm just fighting so that nobody else ever has to go through this and doesn't have to choose between their job and their faith. Lawyers for Kennedy said that they intend to continue fighting on the coach's behalf, potentially back to the U.S. Supreme Court, which had decided the case in 2019 to protect what they regarded as an infringement on the coach's free speech and worship rights. Q13 Fox reported. Which had declined the case in 2019 to protect. Okay, so they actually were presented with this case once before and they declined to take it. I think they really need to take it because this is a very critical thing. That this has happened several times where people have gotten in trouble, teachers and stuff have gotten in trouble for like wearing a cross to school and stuff like that. Yeah, as a teacher in schools, you can wear any kind of religious paraphernalia so long as it's not Christian in America, because there's this bizarre interpretation of the Constitution by leftists that says you're not allowed to advocate any kind of religious views if you work in any kind of public office, which doesn't make any sense. It's like the most bizarre thing. So if you're a school teacher, because that's a public position, right? If you work in a public school, it's a government job, I guess. You're not allowed to like wear crosses in some schools and stuff because they think that that's some kind of an expression of, some kind of promotion of religion, which is like some kind of violation of the separation of church and state, which is, the left really is very anti-Christian, and I don't really understand it, because, we have, I understand it to some degree because Christians have all these vicious principles like turn the other cheek, love your enemy, stuff like that, just really nasty stuff. So I can kind of understand where the left is going with that, but still, we have religious freedom in America, whether you work for the government or not. You should be able to express yourself even at the workplace, right? And so I think that the Supreme Court needs to rule once and for all on that and say people can express themselves in the workplace, whether they, if they believe in God. They should be able to do that, right? Because you can advocate any kind of belief other than Christianity. You can advocate atheism. You can advocate Islam. You can advocate Judaism. You really just can't. The only one that they refuse is any kind of Christian beliefs, any kind of Christian ideas. It's really quite disgusting. But anyway, I hope this guy gets his case gets his day in court in the Supreme Court, and I hope he wins. Anything to add, darling?
Well, maybe they so against Christianity because Christians are like, conservatives are Christians, right?
Typically, not all of them.
Typically, so maybe this is why they're so crazy about.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Christianity.
Definitely that's part of the divide. That's part of what exacerbates the problem, for sure.
If you won't wear cross in Russia, That not good there.
If you won't wear a cross?
Yeah.
Oh, so everybody wears crosses in Russia?
Almost everyone.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite
Mostly,
nice.
yeah.
That's an interesting development since Russia was like, Christianity was basically outlawed for decades.
You get your cross when you are a child. They like
Baptized.
yeah. And you get in your cross and you wear this cross
And then everybody wears it for the rest of their life.
almost, yeah.
Yeah. Except you.
Yeah. I'm not.
Yeah. Well, okay. So let's despite being a Christian, Valeria doesn't wear her cross, but I don't either. I don't really wear jewelry at all though.
I do.
You wear
Tiny.
some jewelry, yeah.
Tiny.
Well, you wear the necklace that I bought you.
Yeah, it's like a
Is that the first thing I bought you? The first jewelry I bought you?
yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah. It's nice.
It's nice.
Cartier?
You know, you didn't need to mention
I don't remember.
the brand.
It was though, right? Yeah. I bought it for Christmas. Our first Christmas, I think. All right, so let's move on to the next story, shall we?
Okay. Oh my gosh. Biden trips up the stairs to
this one. Yeah,
Air Force One.
This is terrible. Okay, so let's have a look at this. I actually really didn't want to. My buddy Adrian's calling. Should I put him on the air again?
No.
He's a he's an actor in Hollywood, and the last time I was doing a live stream for Mr. Reagan, I put him on the air, and he found out, and he like went mental. It was like, "What are you doing, putting me on the air? You're gonna get me fired. I'm never gonna work in this town again." I'm like, I don't think anybody who watches my show is a leftist working.
You can tell him Valeria on air, and her face is on air, and she's still working.
That's true. That is true. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this. You guys are gonna like this. I mean, this is pretty funny. I mean, this is actually really quite sad, I think. But here's the reason I'm showing it. The reason I'm showing it is because this is not a little slip, a little trip, a little fall, a little fumble. This is serious. Like
triple trip.
This is a triple trip. Yeah, a triple trip. We've all known for a long time that Biden is cognitively compromised. But one thing that he's done to try to dispel this idea that he's too like old and feeble to be president is he's like always run everywhere. Like when he goes to like a press conference, or if he's, he tends to kind of do a little jog now and then to show how virile he is and how strong and youthful. And so, like, it's weird. Like, they have him go to Air Force One with zero assistance, nobody else with him, to kind of look like he can stand up on his own 2 feet. And every time, actually, for a long time, since he was campaigning, I remember watching him thinking, one of these days, he's not gonna be able to do that. Like, there's gonna be a day where he's not gonna be able to like jog to the podium, and there's gonna be something bad's gonna happen, or he's just gonna look feeble. He's gonna like trip or something, and now he's done it, and really bad. This is not like a little thing. I don't think it's a little thing. I don't think it's like everybody made a big deal about Hillary falling over that one time, like she kind of fainted or something like that when she was getting into a car. You probably don't remember this, a long time ago.
I do not.
I didn't think that was even as big a deal as this, because I don't know. This to me seems like a pretty big deal. Well, let's go ahead and play this. I'll go ahead and put on the audio, even though it's unnecessary. Ah, jeez. Flick. Okay. Yeah, that was not easy to watch. Like, to me, that was pretty sad. Like, I know that he wants to seem strong and tough and everything, but dude, I don't know if his people are going to now insist that he has help all the time, because you don't want him to look like that. They shouldn't have let him run around by himself anyway. He's too freaking old. He's too feeble. I know Trump can do it. See, that's the problem. He's like, oh, Trump can do it. I can do it. Trump can do it. I can do it. It's the ego. That's the problem. And now he looks like a fool. And look, I feel bad for him. But here's the problem. Twitter and Instagram and all these different social media sites, they're making all these memes now. Like, I don't know what this is. This is some kind of old meme that was apparently debunked, like somebody falling down the stairs at some kind of an award ceremony or something like that. I guess this was supposedly Jason Derulo or something like that, and he fell, but this was like a Photoshop joke, so this wasn't real. But now they Photoshopped him running into Biden, which is kind of funny, I guess, because they're both red carpets, right? And then they've got like a football thing, and then this one's, well, I don't know what this is, some kind of Sasuke Uchiha? I don't know what that is, some kind of manga character. But then this one is, I think this one's probably the most, oh shoot, I'm not even on the right thing. There we go, sorry. Let me go through these again. Yeah, so I don't know who this guy is, but this is like photoshopped. Jason Derulo falling down the stairs. He's hitting Biden. Then they got a football player thing. Then they got this Sasuke Uchiha, which I don't know. I don't really read manga stuff. I'm not up on that, so I don't know what that means. But you know, I'm sure people find that funny. But then this one's the funniest one. This one's actually quite funny. Like, oh. Anyway, that one's quite funny. But then they've got this thing. Let me see. Oh, I lost my audio here. Then they've got a new one, which this is from Benny Johnson. Everybody knows. And this goes on for a long time. It goes on for a long time. I mean, okay. It's a bit mean. It's a bit funny. But at the end of the day, it's like, just get him some people to walk with him. It would be so easy. You were talking about how Melania tripped once, but this wasn't on the stairs. This was just walking.
No, it was on the grass. It's like a tiny trip. Tiny little. And Trump caught her beautifully.
You described this story so beautifully off the air. And then I'm giving you all these hints about how
I can't do the same thing twice with the same
all right.
emotions.
New rule: you're not allowed to talk to me before the show.
Well, you start talking to me, and then
At no
and I
point during the
respond.
day should we speak until the show starts. No, I'm kidding, obviously. No. So Valeria explained to me, this was a story I had forgotten about this, but I do vaguely remember it. There was an instance where, look at the cat. It's hilarious. He was like walking with her on the grass, and she was in boots, I guess, high heel boots, and she trips, and he catches her, and they just keep walking like, you know, like a man should do, catch his wife as she falls because of her boots, and it was just like a little thing, but you thought it was adorable. Valeria loved it. It was like a good husband catching his wife. She thought it was a beautiful thing. Of course, for some reason, she can't explain that on the air. I don't understand. Anyway, okay. I won't give you too much crap about that, but I will ask you to read the next headline.
Okay. Pelosi says House won't resume normal operations until all members are vaccinated.
Yeah, okay, this is a story that annoys me because, so she's basically like saying, Republicans are saying, let's get back to normal. People are vaccinated now. You know, we still got the stupid COVID restrictions in place. Let's get rid of the COVID restrictions. Let's just resume normal operations of the House. Pelosi's like, nope, not going to happen until every single one of you gets vaccinated. Now, maybe not every House member wants to be vaccinated, all right? But here's the real thing that I think is bizarre. Does Nancy Pelosi not understand how vaccinations work? Vaccinations provide they have two values, I guess, or two benefits is the word. I couldn't think of the word benefits, guys. Okay. There are two benefits to getting a vaccine, right? One, you cannot catch the virus. And 2, you cannot spread the virus.
Yeah, but that's the vaccination before this new vaccine, mRNA.
No. This works the same way.
Same way?
Yeah, the effect is the same.
That's the completely new technology. This is why they still, like, you have to wear a mask, you have to social
No.
distance.
That's not why they're saying that. They're saying that because they're morons. No, you cannot catch the virus once you get the vaccine, and you cannot spread the virus once you get the vaccine. That's how vaccines work. But Nancy Pelosi doesn't understand that, apparently. So she's saying that every single she's been vaccinated. She's been vaccinated. She can't catch anything. So let's read a little bit here. Pelosi suggests House won't resume normal operations until all members are vaccinated. The House of Representatives may not return to normal operations unless all members get a COVID-19 vaccine, Nancy Pelosi said Friday, shooting down calls from Republicans to open because about 3/4 of the representatives have gotten shots. One of the most substantial steps that can be taken is that everybody should be vaccinated. Right now, according to what I saw, the Republican leaders say, and was quoted in the press, that 75% of the members are vaccinated. We need 100% of the members vaccinated because it just takes one to endanger others, Pelosi told reporters on Capitol Hill in Washington. Okay, but it doesn't take just one to endanger others if all those other people are vaccinated. So you have two things here. One, some of the members of Congress have already caught coronavirus, so they're going to be immune anyway. 2, some of the members of Congress may feel young, healthy, not afraid of the coronavirus, and are willing to catch it, and they're not that bothered. So it's up to them whether they want to be protected or not from the virus. And for Nancy Pelosi to say everybody else is endangered because you're not going to get the vaccine is just fundamentally misunderstanding what vaccines do. It's not like every single person needs to get vaccinated for everybody else. If everybody got vaccinated except for one person in the whole world, and that person didn't have coronavirus, that guy could never catch coronavirus.
That would be me.
Yeah. But the point is, if everybody in Congress is vaccinated, except for those who don't want to get vaccinated, the only people who could catch coronavirus are the people that were not vaccinated. The people who have been vaccinated, they're fine. So she should recognize, okay, like, and everybody in Congress has like a front row seat to get vaccinated. I mean, they're like one of the first people that got vaccinated. So they have the option if they want it. Just open it up. Be like, you guys, if you want to get vaccinated, go for it. Otherwise, we're opening this up now, and good luck.
Good luck.
She's just an idiot. But here's the thing that really pissed me off. I actually wasn't going to do this story, except for I remembered that Pelosi, when there was a vote in Congress, specifically for her to be voted in as the Speaker of the House.
And she brought all of this COVID sick
Yeah, she demanded that one of the Democrats who would have voted for her, who had COVID, come to the House to vote, endangering everybody there. Oh, it only takes one person to infect everybody, so we've got to shut down normal operations. Oh, wait, there's a vote from me? There's a vote from me? Oh, you've got to come. But I have COVID. Who cares? I'll endanger everybody will die. It doesn't matter. You've got to vote for me. What a hypocritical mother. Anyway. I hate this woman so much. I honestly hate Nancy Pelosi, and I don't hate anybody, but I hate Nancy Pelosi more than any other person on the planet. Well, more than George Soros, more than Hillary, more than Obama.
Obama.
More. There's this meme now that if you put, there's like a website, it says like, learn how to talk like Trump. And if you type in Obama, it shows a clip of him going, Obama. So Valeria finds this very funny. All right, let's go ahead and play this. Can I do that? Yeah, I'm going to turn my mic.
House Republicans are attacking Speaker Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats after Representative Gwen Moore tested positive for COVID-19 but arrived at the Capitol on Sunday in order to cast her vote for Speaker. Conservative Representative Ken Buck tweeted, quote, "Pelosi is putting the public's health at risk to keep herself in power." Representative Bruce Westerman added in a separate tweet, quote, "Looks like Speaker Pelosi's proxy voting and remote hearing measures are only essential when her leadership position isn't on the line." Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy said it was, quote, "wrong for Democrats to allow Moore to vote Sunday so soon after her diagnosis."
They're showing him walk up the stairs again. This is like the #1 story.
That's the number one. This is the next meme after Bernie Sanders. Here you go. We will have a new memes every 2 months. First Bernie Sanders, now this Biden thing.
Yeah. It's going to be pretty popular for some time. You said there's some super chats. You want to read them, their names?
I'm sure they're gonna blame Putin. They were like, see, you call him killer. He didn't call him. He said yes, he's a killer. And now you see what Putin's doing.
That is funny.
There's something wrong with his shoes. I'm sure that Putin did that.
Yeah.
It was a Russian. I don't know.
I'm surprised nobody's done a meme with like a banana there. So
Danny, it's the first day. Just wait.
Well,
Just wait.
I'm pretty sure that was a Russian banana peel. It was a Russian banana peel. All right, so
we got few super chats.
Okay, you want to read that stuff off?
Daniel gave us $5, no question. Thank you, Daniel. Daniel, that's a patriot Daniel. We're calling him.
Okay, Patreon Daniel. Yeah,
okay.
because
Andrew Beerward gave us $20, no question.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you, man.
Then a question from there's another super chat with no question from Daniel again.
Just throwing money at us like strippers. I love it.
And there's a question from Lauren Smart. I wonder how long before they try to make vaccines mandatory and then someone starts seeing fake vaccine cards like inspection stickers.
Oh, yeah. Well, I actually have come up with the idea already that I could potentially do that.
First of all, can you make a vaccine mandatory if there have been cases when people died from vaccine?
I think that
I don't think you can do it.
Yeah. Well, no, they're not going to make vaccines mandatory in the sense that they're going to be. It's going to be. They have to take. People have to take them like legally.
I saw those vaccine cards. You can definitely do a fake one, but the problem is it's in a system.
What do you mean? Oh, it's in a system, right?
You have to you don't just get this card. It's like an ID. You will have.
So you have to be able to hack into the system and put your name in there.
You bring Russians for.
Yeah,
there you go again.
It's probably doable, but I don't know how to do that. All right.
I am willing to get a vaccine, but I would get the Russian one because we did it a way that other vaccines, like flu vaccines.
Did you guys work with Israel? Is that what happened?
One of the Israel hospitals wanted a Russian vaccine, not the American one.
Oh, that's what happened. That's right. The Israelis were taking the Russian vaccine. That's pretty funny.
I'm willing to take Russian, actually.
Right.
I'm against vaccine, but if vaccines will be mandatory...
It is funny because
the problem with Russian vaccines, world doesn't accept them.
Yeah, well, of course
it's
not.
It's like Russian created it first. No, not this one. Just wait.
Well,
because
you and I have discussed this, and like there are certain kinds of protocols in place for safe testing of medicine.
Then why all the
in a kind of a pandemic, the United States would be responsible about it and say, no, we've got to make sure we're doing all the testing anyway. And you know that Putin's going to be like, screw it. Here are prisoners. Go ahead and inject them with that stuff, and we'll find out in 6 days whether it is okay.
The reason why they don't want to take Russian vaccine because Russia would get all the money. The government who first created the vaccine getting the money.
Am I wrong? What I just said?
No, you're right. You're always right. But because Americans got a safe vaccine, they're getting all the money.
You always right. So mean. Right, but I do think that there is a justifiable reason to be skeptical of, because they're not, that the Russians didn't take all the same kind of safety protocols that we did here in the United States. You think they did?
I'm sure they did.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not convinced. I've been to Eastern Europe.
You know how many people going from Europe and America get Russian vaccine in Russia?
Is that a popular thing to happen? Why don't we do that news story? Okay, so I don't even know what we were talking about.
We were talking about vaccines and Pelosi.
Yeah, we were talking about Pelosi's. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. I think Pelosi's obviously a hypocrite, and she's a terrible person, and she needs to be removed from office, and the woman should never have power. In fact, I think she should probably go to prison. She is a criminal. I think Pelosi is indeed a criminal, has engaged in many criminal activities over the years, and I think she's a horrible person as well. And at least she should be removed from her particular position. But if they can find a crime that she has committed, because I know she's done a lot of unethical things, she should probably go to prison. All right, shall we move on to the next story, darling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monopoly is racist.
You look so excited reading this one. What's going on there?
Because we do have Monopoly.
Oh, we have like
We have
feminist
two.
monopoly. We have socialist monopoly.
We have Socialist Monopoly and we have Mrs. Monopoly.
Yeah, Mrs. Monopoly is like feminist monopoly.
So we don't have regular Monopoly, though we are good, right?
Well, the thing is, okay, so did you play Monopoly when you were young?
No.
Okay, so you don't really know much about Monopoly.
We played here once.
Yeah, but we played Mrs. Monopoly. We didn't play normal Monopoly.
Scott Townsend, Super Chat says Nancy is criminal.
She's a
Nancy
criminal.
is a criminal.
Very true, very true. Monopoly ditches community chest cards for the first time in over 85 years after tumultuous 2020. So it's the community chest cards that they think are problematic. Let's have a look. I think I'm gonna name this one when we post it as an individual video. Monopoly is racist, because even though that's not what they're saying in particular, that seems to be the reason why everything gets canceled, why everything gets modified. That's racist. It's racist. In this particular case, it doesn't appear to be racist. It appears to be like not conforming to the idiotic leftist morality of 2020. Let's see here. Monopoly is ditching their current community chest cards for the first time in more than 85 years to better reflect the needs of the 21st century after a tumultuous 2020. All right, let's see here. Covering topics like beauty contests, holiday funds, and life insurance, there is no denying that the Monopoly game's community chest cards are long overdue for a refresh, Hasbro said in a press release. No, they're not. No, they're not. Can I just say something about Monopoly? I played Monopoly my whole life, since I was like a little boy, right? We had those instances where somebody would get angry and literally flip over the board. You know how that's kind of like a joke in movies and TV shows? That actually would happen in our family. People would get mad. I'm pretty sure I'd done it a couple of times when I was like a little kid. You know, got super angry and flipped over the board. I mean, I think my brother has done it. I think I've done it. I think I've seen lots of people do it.
Really?
Yeah, it's a game you can get really emotional about if you're a child.
Really?
Yeah. It's very frustrating and
My
lasts a long time. And anyway, we're children. What do you want? It's like,
There's a super chat from Lauren Smart, and she says, you might want to check that some people are saying their super chats are getting deleted. Did they found us again?
Well, the super chats do delete after a certain amount of time from our notification.
Maybe this is why people not asking you questions. They're just no question. Maybe this is what they mean. I don't know. Because I don't read in comments today, and I don't notice how people complaining.
Yeah.
There are so many comments. I can't keep up reading those.
Is our sound good? Can you hear our audio?
I hope just well, I guess they found us and they are deleting our people's.
Maybe. I certainly hope not. Anyway, well, we'll try to get to all your comments, all your super chats. Sorry guys, I don't know what's going on. I'm just doing the show.
Oh my
here.
gosh, there is a helicopter. There's a helicopter.
They found
Chris.
us.
Chris. Chris.
All right, let's just focus on the show. Okay, let's just focus on the show. So what was I going to say about Monopoly? Oh, okay. Let me just say something about Monopoly here. I think one of the charming things about Monopoly is that it is a bit antiquated. That there is something old-fashioned about it. It is a bit of old-fashioned fun, you know.
But why is it racist? Because it's capitalism?
No. I'm going to say in the headline that the reason they're canceling it, it's like Monopoly's racist, right? Like everything's racist, right? They always say everything's racist. But they're actually not saying that our cards are racist. There's well, I'll kind of get into why they're changing the community chest here in a second. They're updating it to better reflect, you know, our modern values. They're not really saying that it's racist. They're just saying we need to sort of update it.
It's like what? Instead of money, you have to have a food stamps? What?
Yeah.
You need modify a game. You need
Yeah.
have a not instead of insurance like medical or something.
Well, I'll go through what they think is problematic.
Okay,
But let me just say this. There is nothing problematic about Monopoly, right? Some things that are antiquated, that are traditional, that we get, that have a kind of old-fashioned flavor to them, that is part of their charm. Okay? Part of the reason, this is what's going to happen. They're going to update Monopoly, and there's going to be an effing outcry. And I'll tell you why. Because there are people who are obsessed with Monopoly. There are people who have Monopoly crap decorating their whole house. I've seen documentaries about these people. They're a little kooky, but they just love Monopoly. Some people love Monopoly the way, like I did a video a little while ago. For some reason, the stuff I do about culture stuff, especially with movies, they don't get any views. My Superman video about how they're doing a black Superman movie got the fewest number of views of any video I've done since I think my Brains Behind
maybe because who is watching
AOC video.
videos about black Superman, black people?
No, there's a lot of people who are interested in these kind of major culture shifts, major cultural, news things. But for some reason, when I post that stuff, nobody who watches my show likes to watch that stuff. So I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. But in the same way that a lot of people love Superman and don't want to see his race changed and don't want to see certain superheroes and characters they grew up loving go gay or be a different race or have some kind of like weird other leftist thing injected into it.
Yankee the Rainbow super chat. In the new Monopoly, you don't buy properties; you set them on fire.
Exactly. In the new Monopoly, you set people's businesses on fire. Well, okay, so let me show you guys a clip, actually. Let me switch over here to this. I opened this just before we started the show because I wanted to show you guys just how seriously people take Monopoly. Hold on. Turn this off.
Norway secured a strong position in the game after acquiring a full light blue property set and a strong property portfolio, a position that allowed him to catch players when they rolled a missed Monopoly on the speed die. The first player to fall foul of this clever strategy was Oleg from Russia, who was bankrupt after just 20 minutes. The US Richard Marinaccio then hit the same run of properties, boosting Norway's income and becoming the second player to exit the final. Jeff from New Zealand appeared to be very relaxed, leaning back in his chair and taking time to make his decisions. Norway looked strong throughout the game, but it wasn't all plain sailing, as Jeff rolled himself into jail, rendering him safe from Norway's high rent. There's no better time to be a criminal in Monopoly than late in the game. In a bizarre twist of fate, however, Bjorn also chose to go to jail following a lucky roll from the speed die. The TNT was the first player to roll a double and get out of jail. He left the safe haven and quickly played straight into Norway's hand, becoming the final player to be bankrupt in the game. Unlucky but extraordinary play from our new Monopoly World Champion, Bjorn Halved Knopskog. Congratulations to all the finalists on their performance throughout the World Championships, and a huge well done to the winner Bjorn.
We got the audio. So obviously there are people who take Monopoly very seriously. I mean, there are Monopoly.
You can take any sports seriously. Like...
Well, I mean, it's not really a sport, is it?
Well,
it's a game. Normally people don't take, board games quite this seriously. I mean, there's not a...
What about chess? No, chess is not...
chess is a board game. Yeah. I mean, chess is the...
Which is already racist.
Chess is the... So...
Because white, black,
exactly.
and white
they need
always
blue
go
and purple
first,
ones or something like that. Exactly.
And you have queen and king. You can't have like trans. You know how this stuff works.
It's hilarious.
What?
Stop. Yeah. They're gonna probably go after chess eventually.
They already did.
Well,
long time ago.
Not in a serious way, but I think they probably will go after it in a serious way eventually. But yeah, you don't like have Uno tournaments. You don't. There's a lot of what.
The reason why you call them board games, bored because it's boring.
Yeah, okay, that's not funny. That's not funny. That is a terrible joke. A terrible joke. Somehow Valeria's dying. You killed Valeria. Somehow Valeria's dying laughing.
There
Okay.
is another super chat from Andrew.
All right. Hit us with the super chat.
Didn't say anything last time, just appreciate the show. Oh, okay, so that $20 empty super chat was
Okay.
empty
Okay.
on
Thank you,
purpose.
Andrew. Yeah.
Okay, just appreciate the show and the fact that last night you said I was right and got to show it to my wife.
I love that. Well, every time somebody gives us a super chat where they don't comment, let's talk about it as some kind of mystery so that they then have to explain themselves with another super chat.
Yes.
And we'll get rich. That's our new scheme. Okay. So let's have a look here at the reasons why they think that Monopoly is problematic. So there's something called the gate. These are all the different community chest things. So let's just read this paragraph here quickly. Covering topics like beauty contests, holiday funds, oh golly, and life insurance, there is no denying Monopoly Games community chess cards are long overdue for a refresh, Hasbro said in a press release. Hold on. Life insurance? What's politically incorrect about life insurance?
I don't know.
That's a weird one.
I don't
That's
understand.
really weird. I understand holiday funds because people are anti-Christian. I understand beauty contests because they're sexist. But I don't understand life insurance. What is that? That doesn't make any sense. Okay. All right, let's see here. Long overdue for a refresh, Hasbro said in a press release. And coming out of the tumultuous year of 2020, the term community has taken on a whole new meaning. Hasbro is counting on their fans to help reflect what community means in their real lives into the Monopoly game by voting for new cards like Shop Local, Rescue a Puppy, or Help Your Neighbors. Help Your Neighbors is okay. Shop Local? What the hell does that mean? You shopped local. Take $50. The hell? I don't even understand what that means.
I don't know.
How could that be a community chest thing? Okay, so look, the point I was going to make before I was so rudely interrupted by all the super chats.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
You guys are creating drama in our marriage. Let's see here. The thing I wanted to say was there's a lot of charm in things that are antiquated. And like I said, a lot of people love Monopoly as it is. And what will happen, and I know this will happen, it's just like what happened with Coca-Cola in the 80s. Or I don't know if it was the 80s. I think it was the 80s. In the 80s, Coca-Cola came out with a drink called New Coke, and they discontinued Coca-Cola. And New Coke was supposed to be like a lot tastier than regular Coca-Cola. And everyone hated New Coke. And they rebelled, and they went crazy. And there was all these people were going nuts. And so Coca-Cola had to discontinue New Coke and bring back regular Coca-Cola, and it became known as...
That's gonna happen with Monopoly.
There will be a rebellion from Monopoly lovers. And the thing is, like, you can have a new Monopoly set. Just call it, like, Monopoly 2020 or, like, Woke Monopoly or something like that. Like, you can
Messed up Monopoly as the year of 2020.
Say it one more time?
Like, they can call it messed up Monopoly as the year of
Messed up
2020,
Monopoly.
you know?
Exactly, yeah.
The same way, like, 2020 was messed up year.
Yeah, or just Woke Monopoly works because people understand that instantly. Like, or whatever. But, you can make a new Monopoly. They've got like 1,000 different variations of Monopoly already. They have Monopoly for like every city. They've got Monopoly for everything. Why do you have to change the original Monopoly? The original Monopoly should stay as the original and then just have more variations as people want them. Like, I mean, there's so many, there's like a different Monopoly version for every person on the planet. So you don't need to change the original, and if they discontinue the original, people are going to lose their minds. People are not going to be like, look at this old kind of fashionedy kind of card, right? Doctor's fee, pay $50. Monopoly wants your help updating its community chess cards. We don't want them updated, Hasbro. We like the old fashionedy drawing of the guy, of the Mr. Monopoly guy. We like the the kind of simple typeface with the old-fashioned cursive community chest. We like that. We like old-fashioned things sometimes, all right? Not in every aspect of life, but in some aspects of life, we like the old-fashioned stuff. It's part of the charm of Monopoly. We like it. Leave it as it is. So let's see here. These are the current cards that they have. Get out of jail free, go to jail, advance to go, bank error in your favor, collect $200. Doctor's fee, pay $50. So far, these are all things that can happen in real life.
Well, I do not agree on doctor's fees. Always like $40 copay. Come on, man. $50. Should be 40.
You're talking about because of our very specific insurance?
Yes.
Okay. Monopoly should
Can you
change.
create the monopoly specifically for our situation?
Yeah. Mr. Reagan Monopoly. Okay, let's see here. Grand Opera Night. Collect $50 from every player for opening night seats. I hate to tell you this, Monopoly. People still go to the opera. I talked about it last night on the show. Let's see here. Holiday Fund matures. Collect $100. I'll be honest. I don't even know what that means.
Holiday fund matures.
But I like it because it's something that sounds old-fashioned-y. I like that. I'm sure there are investors out there who know what that means. I don't. Income tax refund, collect $20.
That's it?
These things are all things that happen still.
That's correct. The income tax. That's what I get. I pay 35% of my paycheck and I get refund $20. I swear that what happened last year.
Yeah, maybe the amounts of money can change. That would update, correctly. But I like how it is. Okay, it's your birthday. Collect $10 from every player. Life insurance matters. Collect
Life
$100.
insurance matters. They just can call this new monopoly
Black Life Insurance Matters?
Black Lives Monopoly Matters Monopoly.
I'm sure they have a Black Lives Matter Monopoly already.
Shall we buy it?
We should buy it
it's
and
right
play it on
here
the show. Last time we played Monopoly on the show, nobody watched it. It was one of our worst ever videos.
One of the Hollywood assistants watched it and recognized me and then wrote me like, I saw this on your video.
that from-
I was like, am I out of work?
Yeah, fortunately, he was a conservative. Well, what's funny about that video is another really big YouTuber, Elijah Schaefer, was on that show. And anytime I have other people on my show, people don't watch. He's going to come on the show a bit, actually, because he's going to be in LA more.
Elijah?
Yeah, he said he's coming to visit, so we'll
That's
put him on the
good.
show. Yeah, it'll be fun. Okay, let's see here. Okay, hospital fees, pay $50. School fees, pay $50. Receive $25 consultancy fee. You are assessed for street repairs, pay $40 per household, $115 per hotel that you own. You have won second prize in a beauty contest, collect $10. You inherit $100. So everything here that I can see, except for the beauty contest, seems like stuff that happened normally. That happened happen every day to people around the country, and they'll relate to it. The prices are a little bit off. They're a little bit antiquated, but that's okay. I think that's okay. So if the problem is just the beauty contest...
Now I kind of want to play Monopoly.
Yeah, we can buy it. I'll get it. As soon as the show's over, I'll buy it. So let's see here. Hasbro has decided to swap out these terms for cards that focus more on community service and helping others. The company is hosting a community chess challenge. So it seems like it's a marketing thing more than anything else. But people don't like it when you change, classic stuff that they love. This is not going to go well for Hasbro. I mean, it'll probably sell a few Monopoly boards, but I think in the long run, they're going to have to go back. People don't like stuff like this changed. So they want you to vote for these things. You organize a bake sale for your local school. Collect $25. Meow. You knit cozy sweaters for hairless cats at your local animal shelter. Oh, barf.
Meow.
Barf. That's ridiculous. And these are really long, too. Note that these old ones are really short. These ones are all like a friggin' paragraph long. What are they doing? Whoever wrote these is an idiot. Okay, you help your neighbors clean up their yards after a big storm. Collect $200. You donate your birthday money to a community center. Keep a little for yourself. Collect $10. Are these all collect? Okay, here we go. You rescue a puppy and you feel rescued too. Now they're telling us how we feel when we do things. Get out of jail free. How does rescuing a puppy get you out of jail? That doesn't even make sense. That's terrible. You rescued a puppy so you get out of jail free.
I don't understand
That doesn't work. I'm sorry, Monopoly. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. You didn't shop local. Pay $50.
So you didn't order
gosh.
food from black-owned restaurant. You pay fee $50.
Yeah, that's going to be the new thing. Let me tell you about shopping local. I like those farmers markets where you grab some produce and stuff.
Yeah, every Sunday we have farmers market right here in downtown. That's why we have traffic because they close the whole
Yeah,
street.
we should go. We never go.
I do. I buy honey there.
I don't go. We should go together. That'd be nice. Nice little day out. Thanks for telling me, by the way. That's nice. I never get out of the apartment. I don't know what happens in the world. But the problem with shopping local in this like farmers market stuff is like you think that you're getting a premium product, straight from the local farms. But in Canada, there's a station up there. You can find this on YouTube. They did an expose about this, and what they'll do a lot of times is these guys who have these stalls here, it's not really regulated, these farmers markets. So what they'll do is they'll go to like the cheapest supermarket in town. They'll just buy a bunch of apples from the supermarket or from like the local distributor, and they'll just peel off all the little labels, and then they'll sell it as local produce when who knows where it came from. It's absolutely a scam. It's absolutely a scam. A lot of these farmers markets are scams. And also buying local, it's good. It's fine. I think it's a fine thing to do. But one of the reasons that we're able in the modern world to end hunger and end poverty and starvation, stuff like that, is with cheap food, right? And the way that food gets really cheap is through mass distribution, right? So you have these massive farms producing massive amounts of food. Then you have, all these amazing storage methods to preserve the freshness of the food, and then they can ship it anywhere. Anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, and it'll stay fresh. And, the whole system, the whole enterprise of, the whole logistics that we've developed, we've been able to engineer amazing methods for preservation. We've been able to engineer methods of harvesting, processing, shipping, all these distribution methods. And people are like mad about places like McDonald's because everything's mechanized and everything's done in this way that they think is unhealthy for the environment and all this kind of stuff. But like, it's places like McDonald's, it's systems like massive grocery stores and grocery store chains. These kinds of major innovations in business and industry are what have allowed us to basically be able to buy food so unbelievably cheaply in the world today, and so many people have access to so much food. Like, poor people are not starving anymore. Poor people are fat now. The problem that we
because
have is
that cheap food is not really healthy. Like,
well, it's not healthy in the sense that it's not balanced, but it's healthy in the fact that it has enough calories that the person isn't going to starve. Right, so the problem used to be that poor people had so little nutrients that they would starve to death. Now they have too many nutrients, and so they get fat and they have other kind of health problems. But that primary problem is a far worse problem. The problem of not getting enough food is far more. Oh, our cat has found an insect. It's going after him.
It's
He's
a
on the attack.
helicopter.
He's on the hunt for this insect. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, that's a kind of a random tangent I went on because of this. But they seem to think shopping local is very good idea. Which it's fine. I think buying local is fine. Other proposed cards would penalize players that keep a lost wallet or don't recycle garbage. Chief Consumer Officer at Hasbro, Eric Nyman, said the world has changed and Monopoly needs to change with it. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Monopoly does not need to change. I'm sorry, you're wrong. This is really just a publicity stunt, and we have fallen for it because we covered it, which we probably shouldn't have. So sorry, guys, but I wanted to rant about this because I like Monopoly, and it's part of all of our childhood, so something that I think should stay the same. All right, shall we move on to the next?
we have a super chat from Salty JD.
All right, let's do it.
My wife found an Uno tournament. LOL.
Oh.
Uno. I know what's Uno.
Uno, yeah, because of that band. You know about Uno.
No, it's not about band. I played the game even when I was back in Russia.
Oh, did you?
Like those
All right.
Uno cards, yeah.
What's the song that I like from Uno? Oh no, the song's called Uno.
Uno.
What's the band's called?
Little Big.
Little Big. If you guys want, after the show, or even right now, and you can come back and watch the rest of it later, there is a music video called Uno from a Russian band called Little Big, and it's in English, so you don't. but it is the most amazing music video I've ever seen
That
in my
was
life.
a Eurovision 2020
Contestant, but they
contestants,
canceled
but
Eurovision.
yeah, they
But
did this
but
band.
aren't they gonna do it for 2021?
They didn't agree to do 2021 because I guess they didn't get as much money as they wanted. They got a little greedy, and now
got a little greedy.
Russia sending she's not Russian, she's like from Uzbekistan, girl singing about Russian woman, and Russia just hated it.
Oh, the Russian people.
They're
Why was she chosen?
People chose her,
Oh, okay.
but people are not happy with the
So the people who voted for her are not in the majority somehow. Just not
Yeah,
everybody voted. And
just it was weird. Well,
that's so sad because they blew up basically in Russia. They became hugely successful because of this music video Uno. They were I think they were popular before that though, right? Or no?
kind of, yeah.
But now they're huge.
Yeah, and got greedy.
And you have a friend who knows them.
Yeah, she works here as a photographer, so that when they come here, she takes
Tell
his
her
picture.
tell her I want to meet them. Even though they're a little weird. I like their comedy. They're funny guys. They're funny people.
We have another super chat from Tim Hill. We need a new version of Trouble where instead of popping dice, you vote in Democrats, also featuring Libertarian Sorry.
Hold on, let me read that because I don't know if you read that.
Yeah, probably not.
Oh, I can't. Oh my gosh. We need a new version of Trouble. Trouble's a board game here in America. Where instead of popping dice, you vote in Democrats, also featuring Libertarian Sorry. Sorry is another game that we have. That's too funny, man. Tim Hill, I love that. That's great. Okay, so
Last story?
enough about Monopoly. Yeah, let's move on to the next story.
It's a last story.
The last story.
Mexican officials praise Trump's border policies.
Yeah, so this is kind of a positive story. So,
Mexican officials admit Trump's border policies help them manage
migrant influx. Yeah, basically, like,
that's surprising.
a lot of the Mexican officials, people in Mexico, they don't really like all the immigrants crossing through Mexico to get to the United States. They don't really like that. They don't
Why?
like.
What's the problem?
Well, they don't like immigration themselves. It was really funny, actually. Is like a lot of leftists are like, if you don't let all the Mexicans into America, you're a racist. But like, okay, well, first of all, it's not Mexicans that are coming in mostly. I don't think it's like Guatemalans and people from El Salvador, places like that. But a lot of these people are coming through Mexico. Some of them stay in Mexico. Some of them come through Mexico and go to the United States. But a lot of these people are, from cartels or gangs. They're running drugs. They're violent people. They're not the kind of people that they want in their country, even temporarily. So they didn't really like this. And in fact, I think at the border of Mexico, between Mexico and Guatemala, I think there was like some kind of a fence or border wall. So this idea that they were like, oh, we're not allowed to have a border wall between United States and Mexico, but Mexico can have a wall between Mexico and Guatemala. Again, it's more like a fence, but. And the funny thing is, there's lots of fencing on the U.S. border. So this idea that we were going to make a wall that was like more secure than the fence that already existed, I don't know why that turned into such a big political issue. It's just the Democrats being, pissy about everything. Trump was just going to make a barrier that was more secure than the one that already existed. I mean, it's just a silly thing to say that that's a bad idea. Of course, it's a good idea. Every nation in the world would recognize that. Anybody who says that they don't recognize that, they're lying. But the Mexicans, they actually appreciated Trump's policies because they didn't want people coming through Mexico to come to the United States. And it was difficult for them to keep people out. With Trump's policies, it made it a lot easier. Now with Biden's policies, taking away a lot of the Trump stuff, it's hard again. There's all this immigration
It's a
again.
huge mistake.
Of course, it's a huge mistake. So now that Mexicans are saying, look, Trump was right. And I love that. Unexpected. A little bit unexpected. Mexican officials admit Trump border policies helped them manage migrant influx. As the Biden administration struggles to house thousands of unaccompanied minors crossing the border, Mexican officials admit that former President Donald Trump's border policies helped them to manage the large influx of migrants making their way through Central America and Mexico into the United States illegally. The Biden administration's appeal to do more against migration has put Mexico in a difficult position. While Mr. Trump strong-armed Mexico into militarizing the border, some Mexican officials argue that his harsh policies may have at times helped lessen their load by deterring migrants from attempting to make the journey north. The New York Times reported on Thursday. The New York Times reported this. The New York Times reported this. That's amazing. It's funny because I actually read through articles from the New York Times. Never found this one. While the Trump administration enacted policies to stop illegal immigration, Biden rolled back most of the Republicans' directives, exchanging them for what the White House calls an appropriate response to the border crisis, which Press Secretary Jen Psaki labeled a vital human challenge. It is a vital human challenge now. When Trump was in charge, it was taken care of. I mean, it wasn't perfected. The thing is, even when Trump was there, we still had a lot of work to do. You know, we needed to finish that dang border wall.
When you have 8 years of Obama not doing anything, basically just sitting in the office with his legs on the table.
Yeah.
And Trump had just 4 years to. I mean, we hoped it would be 8 years of Trump.
Well, it should have been 8.
And Trump basically started working from the same day he walked into the Oval Office. Not like Biden signing 15 executive orders, but still a lot of work to do.
Well, I would like to say that Donald Trump should have gotten 8 years, except Biden totally fairly won the 2020 election.
Well, if Biden is going to keep doing such a terrible... Not Biden. Whoever.
Biden's handlers. Biden's puppeteers.
Well, let's say the Biden. That people will just turn to more, not to Republican side, but at least something between. Like, we don't want this to happen.
Well, unless they rig the election so much that we can't win ever again. This is something we discuss almost every episode, how we think that it's going to become so bad.
I hope not.
That we'll never be able to win any
not.
elections again. I think it'll probably happen. All right, let's see here. Biden's directives included reinstating the deferred action for childhood arrivals, adding illegal immigrants in U.S. Census totals, ceasing construction on the southern border wall, and even replacing the word alien with non-citizen in U.S. immigration laws. Non-citizen. Oh, these people are unbelievable. I hate this whole Biden thing. It's Biden. It's not Biden. I don't know who it is, but it's not Biden. We got to come up with a better name for it. At the beginning of March, Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador told reporters that many of those suddenly eager to undertake the dangerous journey across the southern U.S. border illegally view Biden as the migrant president, and his policies seem to usher in a new era of welcoming illegals. So many feel they're going to reach the United States, the Mexican president said. Biden's White House, however, denied the accusation that officials are promoting open border policies, merely doubling down on their mixed messaging, telling people to go home whilst continuing to preach about the opportunities for all inside the U.S. Yeah, your jargon is, maybe you guys shouldn't come, but your actions are like, come. Of course they're encouraging people to come to the United States. Of course they are. The fact that they think that they're not, or they say that they think that they're not, is really quite shocking. I mean, it's absurd. Nobody believes that. Nobody believes that they're not encouraging people to come to the United States. Let's see here. We certainly also recognize that because the president and our administration has made a decision that the way to humanely approach immigration is to allow for unaccompanied minors to come and be treated with humanity and be in a safe place while we're trying to get them into homes, Press Secretary Jen Psaki said before acknowledging the record-setting number of children coming across the border. We recognize that, but we made a policy decision before we felt that was the humane approach, but the facts are the facts are that the vast majority of people who come to our border are turned away, and the statistics bear that out, she said. I mean, she's in a pretty tough spot. I gotta say, Jen Psaki, she does not do well as press secretary, but she is in a pretty tough spot. She's got to explain policies that have encouraged this kind of illegal immigration, and she's basically got to, put a positive spin on it, which is not possible. I mean, she's in a very difficult spot, but she is terrible at her job. So I forgot to turn one of my lights on, so I'm a little bit dark, and so are you actually.
I'm always dark.
Do you want to flip the? No, we're almost done. We have to just do question and answers, right?
Okay, yeah.
All right, guys, we are done with the news. So if you don't want to hear us rant on about our sad lives and answer questions and comments from the people, but our show does that. Our show gives voice to the people. That's what we do at the end of every show. We let you guys be heard. So if you guys want to say something or if you want to ask a question.
Valeria looks so mad. Yes, I know. I know, guys.
Are you mad? Are you mad?
No, but it's my natural face expression.
That's your natural. Go ahead and take some questions and answer them yourself while I change the lighting.
There is a super chat from Kaylee Nialis. She says, I have MS and will not be taking a vaccine. What is MS? Can you? Okay. Why aren't parents stepping forward to their children? Why not claiming their kids? Is it about immigrants?
Oh, I think that's a little too bright.
No, it's good.
I'll read it again. I don't understand.
Why aren't parents stepping forward for their children? Why not claiming their kids?
Oh, you mean at the border?
Yes, I think so.
Well, I think that the reason for that is that there are basically different rules for if you're an unaccompanied minor or if you're like accompanied with your family. If you're accompanied with your family, the rules are it's a little bit more difficult to get in the United States. You have to try to get an asylum. But if you are an unaccompanied minor, they just like let you in.
Interesting.
So that's why parents aren't claiming their kids. They want them to basically be alone and, have the address of some kind of relative so that they're basically shuffled in the United States and they're sent to whatever address they have. Jen Psaki, in talking about how humane they are with the Biden administration, they're like, we're doing a lot of different things than the Trump administration did. Like, we're checking their pockets to see if they have an address, and they have an address, then we send them there. And it's like, the hell are you talking about, lady? Like, I'm sure that the Trump administration was like, what is this address you got here, boy? Ha 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 ha! Throw it in the trash. You're gonna be locked away forever. I mean, the way Democrats think of how Republicans are and how like evil and crazy we are is, I mean, it's out of like a fantasy novel. They think they read books about evil villains and watch movies and TV shows about like vicious evil people. From like the slave days, like slave owners going, work, boy, ha ha ha, and they go, this is what Republicans are. They have this imaginary version of what Republicans are and Trump people and stuff like that. That is just like they're the most vicious, villainous, evil people in the world. And I don't know how many Democrats really believe that, and I don't know how many Democrats are just like going along with this, bizarre fantasy version of reality in order to get more votes, but. It's a weird thing that I can't even believe people buy it, but people seem to buy it. I mean, there is enough people that believe that kind of stuff that makes the world a worse place. Anyway, continue. You have some kind of a super chat or something?
Yes, two.
Okay.
Cassandra Benefield. Can I claim African American with my 1% African?
She's
Yes.
Valeria's claiming
Yes,
to
do
be
it.
Jewish.
Do it.
So I would say go for it.
Okay. Lauren Smart. Some of kids are sold as well.
Yeah, that's true. No, well, not only that, it's human trafficking. It's also drug trafficking, and they use some of the kids as drug mules. From what I understand, there is this scheme that they have where what they'll do is they'll send kids over the border. The kids will come back into Mexico. And then they'll go illegally again, and they'll just keep doing that. And they're getting paid by the cartels to do this because what ends up happening is a lot of these illegal immigrants crossing the border and having to be processed by the Border Patrol create such a distraction from the Border Patrol that they can't keep an eye on other areas of the border that maybe drugs are coming into, or criminals, or terrorists, or child molesters, or whatever. These people are trying to get through. I think mainly it's for the drugs, of course, but you know what I mean? Like they create a distraction. So when they're dealing with all of these kids and various people that are pretending to come across, Biden is facilitating criminal enterprises, right? He's creating a situation in which criminals are flourishing. He's essentially making money for the cartels in Mexico. His policies are. And the fact that he doesn't realize that, or his handlers or his people don't realize that, is quite shocking. I'm not sure if they don't realize that or they don't care.
They do. They're just trying to
because it makes them look good.
Destroy America. That's all they do.
Maybe they might be trying to destroy America. They just may be trying to look like they are. You know, that there are people who care. We care about the immigrants. We care, so we have to have these policies in place.
No, you don't have to.
You know, it's ruining everybody's lives. You missed one.
I didn't.
Scott Townsend. You missed Scott Townsend.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I did miss it.
Scott Townsend asks, what did you guys do for your first date? Do you remember, Valeria? I remember.
I do.
What did we do?
Went to Santa Monica.
Yes, that's right. We were on Santa Monica Pier. I think Santa Monica Pier is kind of famous. It's actually a very touristy spot. Mm-hmm. But locals go there too. Everybody goes there. And we went to Santa Monica Pier, and we found like a little... Did you catch a bug? That's cool. Good job, Aston. Clever little cat. And we found a little place that was hidden away behind all like the shops and everything that nobody could see us. And we just kind of hung out back there, away from everybody. Well, we walked around too a little bit, but it's nice when you're in a public space to find like an area where other people can't see you. when you're on a date, I feel like. But yeah, it was a nice time. We went to a park afterwards. We found like a beautiful park just across from Santa Monica Pier.
Okay.
Anything else? Anything else exciting?
Mark, do you have any walk film recommendations for the weekend?
You know what's actually funny about that? So one of the things I've been talking about, I talked about it early in the show, is that I have problems sleeping. And one thing I've always felt I should do is read at night instead of watching TV or checking social media. But one thing that's kind of a benefit of being a known social media person, known on YouTube, is that I get a lot of messages every day. Like so many messages, in fact, that it becomes difficult to respond. And I think sometimes people who I know relatively well who are like, they kind of feel bummed out because I'm not writing them. But it's not because of them specifically. It's because I have so many. I get burnt out from social media. So social media is no longer something I have a compulsion to look at. It's in fact something that's a bit of a chore for me to deal with. And another thing that I've noticed is that television has gotten far worse than it used to be. Like, I do have recommendations, though, if you really want something to watch. Because I've watched everything that I would like to watch that is non-woke and is good. But I think that the only really good non-woke show right now is Mandalorian. Mandalorian is great.
After they fired...
Gina Carano. Well, it doesn't really matter because it's still created by Jon Favreau, who I believe is either conservative or libertarian. So go ahead and watch Mandalorian if you can. It's on Disney Plus. If you don't want to buy Disney Plus, I recommend just downloading views and just stealing the episodes from torrents. I don't usually recommend criminal activity, but I don't like Disney right now. And I used to download... I still actually do. I still will download movies and stuff like that, specifically, even though we subscribe to like every service that you can subscribe to, because I sometimes need editable versions of videos so I can insert the clips into my Mr. Reagan videos and stuff like that. So I'll still download stuff, not for us to watch, but for me to use on the show. That's just a point of necessity, actually. But let's see. So what I've decided to do, instead of watching anything or checking social media, is reading. So I've got the James Bond novel Casino Royale. I have an early edition of that that I have by my bedstand. That's what I'm going to read next. And but the light's too bright next to our bed, so I bought this little tiny light that I can just read with. So that's my new plan. I'm going to be reading books. I would suggest, if you want anything unwoke, to watch old things or to read old books. But one of my favorite shows of all time is a show called Quantum Leap. That was a show from the 80s. Highly recommend catching up on old episodes of Quantum Leap. a lot of nostalgia there, but also it'll just take you. It's just really, really good show. Another great show, I think probably the best show ever in history of television, is a show called The Twilight Zone. I recommend watching. You can find lists online of like the best episodes and watch those. I don't always agree with those lists, but the Twilight Zone, amazing show. MacGyver, also a classic from the 80s. But if you want a modern show, Mandalorian is great. There was a show that I used to watch that is really one of my favorite of all time shows, with a prominent conservative actor who plays the character of Casey on the show, and that show is called Chuck. A show called Chuck. It's great. And then there's another show from HBO, in fact, which I would highly recommend, called Silicon Valley. If you haven't watched the show Silicon Valley, I highly recommend that show. That's a fairly modern show. But yeah, the only show that I can think. Oh, another good show from Netflix is that's a modern show. Is what's the show with the little kids? Stranger Things. Stranger Things is actually not really a woke show. It's not. It doesn't have any like woke messaging. I think that the guys that have written it, I have no idea what their politics are, but they don't seem to inject politics. It just seems to be like an old-fashioned like 80s style show. It's set in the 80s. It's filmed like a Spielberg film. So it's definitely. Do you have any recommendations, darling?
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. The Harry Potter movies. If you want to watch the old Harry Potter movies, revisit those, or revisit the old Lord of the Rings films. Those are great films. But anyway, that's my recommendation. Is old 80s TV shows or the modern shows that I mentioned. But I'm going to start reading books again. I haven't read books in a while. I actually mentioned on the show the other day that I'm not I'm a remarkably slow reader, considering that I've actually written something like 12 feature film scripts and several TV shows pilots, and I've written so much in my life, but I can't, for some reason I can't read fast. I don't know what that is. All right. Somebody wrote Outer Limits. I never got into Outer Limits. But I will tell you what, if you liked Twilight Zone, but you want something like Twilight Zone, but not Twilight Zone, watch a show called Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Alfred Hitchcock Presents is one of the best shows of all time. I would say it's equal to Twilight Zone. It just doesn't quite get the same. People don't remember it quite as fondly, but it is an amazing show. There's one episode called Lamb to the Slaughter. I think it's called Lamb to the Slaughter. Watch Lamb to the Slaughter, Alfred Hitchcock Presents. And of the Twilight Zone, my favorite ever Twilight Zone, one is called something about... Okay, one is called... Gosh, what's it called? All the Time in the World, or Time Enough at Last, or something like that. Gosh, I can't remember. You guys probably remember. And then the other one is called One for the Angels, I think, or something like that. Pitch for the Angels, One for the Angels. Anyway, those two episodes of Twilight Zone are amazing.
Shall we be done on this positive?
This episode?
No.
Reformed White Knight, right? No, please not Harry Potter, Valeria. That's meant to lead people away from God. I don't actually think it is. There are other children's books that are definitely meant to lead children away from God. Absolutely horrific stuff. I've seen some... What was it called? I don't remember. Something with these polar bears, and it's all about like witchcraft and how Christianity is evil. And I mean, there's some messed up stuff out there. But I don't think Harry Potter is actually intended to be anti-Christian per se. But maybe it is, and I just didn't notice. But when I watched them, I didn't think it was that bad. Yeah. Valeria's Christian, and she grew up on Harry Potter. To Serve Man, Twilight Zone. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm just reading some of these. Narnia books. Oh, yeah, read the Narnia books. Even as an adult. I haven't read them since I was a kid, but I imagine as an adult they would also be excellent. I haven't looked at those in years, but I have the set, you know. As a kid, those are my favorite books. I grew up in this mentality that, like, I actually wanted to be a writer, I think actually in part because of those books. Yeah, that's right. The Dark Materials by Pullman, Reformed White Knight. He knows. Yeah, yeah. Those books, the Dark Materials books, those are like pure flippin' evil. Those like anti-Christian. The devil's good. Witchcraft is good. I mean, it takes the whole concept of like Harry Potter and like, oh, witches are funny and fun, and like takes it to a whole nother level where they're like, this guy seems to think that like magic is real and witchcraft is real and the devil's real, and this is crap that we should train kids to like, and that we should train them to hate Christianity. I mean, it's disturbing. The Pullman stuff is really disturbing. You guys should look into that stuff. It's pretty unbelievable that somebody would write children's books that were specifically designed to indoctrinate kids into this hatred of Christianity and this appreciation of like Satanism.
Well, my grandma bought me Harry Potter books when I was little, so.
No. I'm not saying that.
And she's religious.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying Harry Potter. I'm saying these other books are like that. I'm saying that this distinguishes them from the Harry Potter thing, which I think is more benign.
Yeah.
I don't think she was trying to make witchcraft into something that people actually practiced. Although I do think some people some like younger people grew up and they did get involved in what they thought was a more real world variant of like Wicca, witchcraft, because of Harry Potter. I actually know somebody like that who liked Harry Potter so much she's now a Wiccan. Isn't that weird? It's a weird thing.
Well, I like Harry Potter, but I'm not like like
But she's
this.
still a Christian. But you like those stories. But yeah, I don't think that those Harry Potter books were intentionally trying to drive kids away from Christianity. But yeah, the Pullman stuff that actually is trying to do that, which I think is so disturbing. Lauren Smart writes, "The Wonderful Wizard of Oz is a great series of books. I always wanted to read those. I never got around to it. I know they're for children, but even as an adult, I've always thought, I should get into those. They seem like pretty smart. Let's see, Wheel of Time series. I don't actually know what that is. I vaguely recall hearing about that. Let's see here. People are writing about Narnia stuff. Yeah, Narnia is far better, I think, than the Harry Potter series. I think the Narnia books are some of the best children's books ever written in history. Just amazing series. The Boy in the Red Balloon. The Boy in the Red Balloon. Wasn't that like an Italian film
I
from
don't
like the
know.
40s or something like that? That's you're getting old school there. Mark in Alberta, pride in reading, but you don't have to take my word for it. Oh man, Mark in Alberta, reading Rainbow. Good, yeah, good call. All right, guys, that's it for us. We've made some recommendations of I think good TV shows and stuff to watch, and I think we've had a good night. It's Friday.
Friday.
So you guys enjoy your Friday night and enjoy your weekend. Spend some time with your family. If you hate your father, call him. Tell him you love him. I don't know why I said that. I did this video. Was it yesterday or the day before or something like that? We talked about this, how Milo Yiannopoulos is going straight, and I watched all these videos of these men who had become gay and then gone through some kind of conversion therapy type thing and gotten better. Advocating this idea that conversion therapy actually could work. And man, these stories were heart-wrenching of these guys. I mean, they were utterly traumatized as young boys, molestation, all kinds of nasty stuff. But one thing that seemed to be a similar thread with all of them is that they hated their fathers. They really hated their father. They have these all hard-ass fathers. And I realized that being a bad father is like the best possible way to raise a dysfunctional child. If you're an abusive father, your child will turn out messed up. It's like guaranteed. So yeah, I don't, I think most people know that at this point, but I think a lot of people that are now in like their 60s, I don't think their fathers really understood that. At least the guys that got really messed up. So fortunately for me, I had a great dad. I had great grandfathers. I had really good examples to grow up with. So I was very lucky, but listening to these guys' stories, man, it was tough to listen to that stuff. And I just felt like, man, I'm glad the world's a little bit less a-hole-ish, than it used to be. yeah, don't be such a hard ass if you're a dad, and if your dad was a hard ass, just forgive him and move on with your life, and tell him you love him anyway. All right, that's my advice for today. All right, guys, you have a good night, and we will see you on Monday.